I'm Va-Bene also known as Craziness Artist. I work as a multidisciplinary activist, curator, mentor, and I'm also the founder and director of Purple Craze International Artist Residency in Ghana. My work actually focuses on fluidity, gender, the violence, the discrimination, alienation, and other erasures via colonial lenses.
Hi, I'm Wilfredo. I'm an artist, writer, and the deputy editor of the art platform Contemporary and America Latina. In my artistic practice, I work with body, text, and images to investigate intersection between pop culture, blackness, queerness, decolonial thought, and technology. Hi, Va-Bene. You work, I would say, primarily with people, and your work is also about people. During this residency, you have conducted workshops, you have done several performances, and you've done also a lot of work related to your curatorial practice, specifically your amazing residency in Ghana, PR. Could you tell me a little bit more about the first aspect of it, your workshops?
First of all, I see curation as creating space and also creating families or creating alliances. So the workshops I was running were also in line with the way my performances are developed. So the unfamiliar spirit in familiar spaces. We run the workshop from the studio where the people were sitting in a train, a virtual train in the studio. And then we moved the workshop to the street, in the public space, and we were moving in a train. So the workshop was happening on the train, carrying a sex doll and also carrying their luggages on their head. So the idea is also to explore the limit and the boundaries, and at what level do we drop our traditions, our rituals, our indigeneities when we move to new places. So the workshop was focusing on BIPOC people, migrants, refugees, and people who are not actually Berliners. I did another one which was focusing on clay, and I took the people through my own rituals and relationship to clay as a grounding and also as an origin. So my birthplace and my death place, and why I use it in performance to keep me connected to the earth and never to see myself as a victim in case I happen to die even in my performance. So it's a ritual process that I shared with the people. In July, I did a performance in public space in front of the job center at Va-Bene in collaboration with Gallery Va-Bene. And this workshop, this performance was called Intimate Healing. So in the Intimate Healing, I invited the audience to braid my hair and cut my hair whilst I was actually bathed in clay and struggling to survive and suffocating and vomiting. So this same idea I borrowed into the workshop that I did at Tapman Hall called Anye Myenye. And Anye Myenye means we are clay, So the idea is returning to the origin of birth and our final destination and our ancestral home.
In your performances, you also play a lot with this idea of the inside and the outside, and especially being in the public place, and what that means for both the artist and also the audience. And participation is very important, to be present in your performances. You yourself, of course, but also the public. And like, why is that important to you, for the people to be fully engaged during your performances?
Yeah, because I moved into performance as an activism. I studied painting. So moving into performance as an activism, I see the public space as the most potential place to begin to talk about change. And so I begin to see my working processes and my work itself as for the people, with the people, by the people. And in that context, I want the people not to be spectators, not to be distant from it. So I begin to see even the curatorial process of it as a happening. that I don't pre-curate it. It is during the performance that I look at the audience and understand their needs and understand their desire, their fears, and then I actually borrow that into the work and allow them. So even if there is a song, I make the audience hum the song, and by doing so, they gradually transition into the performance ritual and they become part of it. So I'm able to see the possibility of breaking that boundary between performer and spectators, and also to avoid a lot of exoticism of the work. Because especially when I perform in Europe, I don't want to see it as this is an African body and it's just the perversion of looking at an African body. And but I want them to look at a content and a context.
As a curator and organizer, you also organize the artistic residency PR in Ghana, in Kusami. And in Berlin, you've also done like a few events in regards to the residency. Could you tell me a bit more about what have you done for the residency and what were the results of that?
I never see my life, my artistic practice, my activism, and even curatorial practice separated. I see everything I do interwoven. So there is no separation. And so my daily existence is part of my work. So whilst in residence here, I didn't want to like create like just professional relationship, but I want to create a very mutual, organic relationship. So I go for dinner and lunch with individuals that I want to talk with. So I have like very spontaneous interviewing people, like I not record, not writing, but just listening and sharing. And so I organize like an art talk for over 80 people and cook for all of them. And this is all part of how I create community, how I bring people together. Because some people live in Berlin for like over several years. They never met, they never know each other, but they are also Black community. They are living in their own bubbles. There are several bubbles created here. And so like I was working with most of these groups, and then I happened to bridge the gap between these groups. On my birthday, I did the same. So people might, oh, that's a birthday party. But for me, it's not just a birthday party. It's an intervention. It's bringing people together. It's sharing stories. Even though I was celebrating my birthday, I was again working on that day. I was talking about my residency in Ghana. I was talking about the current situation of the anti-LGBTQ bill that may jail me soon, maybe in the next few months. I don't know.
Hopefully not.
Yeah, I was talking about all that. So, but I do it that it seems and it looks like less work. That process of creating relationship with people is very integral to my curatorial practice. And this is what led to the residency that I've created in Ghana. So we live as a family. We eat together every day.
So after these 3 very intense and prolific months, what's next for you after this residency?
Well, first of all, I want to be thankful to the ZKU for hosting me for this 3 months. It's been a long journey, very, very long journey. And I'm looking forward to people who may be interested in this process of millworking, that we can develop this project possibly on a larger scale, where we can transform spaces into both intimate and public spaces, like I did on my open house, train in a bedroom, sex happen in a bedroom and sex happen in the train, everything put it together. I am looking into the future of this, how we can actually develop that. Secondly, from here, I would need a lot of time to process all the experiences, because I like to translate my own experiences into new works. So I would like to process all the experiences. I'm moving from here on Friday, and I continue my journey to Netherlands, to the UK, and then to Ghana. But I'll allow this experience to follow me through and continue to build upon it.
Thank you, Va-Bene.
You are welcome.
Thank you.
And it's been so nice working with you. I really, really appreciate it. And if there is any professional relationship that I have developed that means so much to me, it's also you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It was an absolute pleasure to meet you.
It's also you.